First Samuel, that was First Samuel 28, verse 9.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 28, and verse 9.
Right?
And the woman saith unto him,
First Samuel 16. Oh, that's where we was at before.
Okay, 16 and 7. Is that where you want to be at?
Oh, yes, let's start from there, yeah.
Okay. This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 16, and verse 7. But the Most High said unto Samuel,
Right.
Look not on his countenance,
Right.
or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Most High seeth not as a man seeth.
Right.
For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Most High looketh on the heart.
The Most High looketh upon the heart. So we understood this concept of the Most High looking at your inward parts, right? Looking at the thoughts that man can't see, right? We understand that. That's what the Most High looks at first, right? He understands that. He looks through your heart, the inward parts, right? Let's get that in First Chronicles, right? 28:9. Powerful officer brought up.
This is the book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 28, and verse 9. And now Solomon, my son, know thou the power of thy father, and serve him with a perfect heart,
Right.
and with a willing mind. For the Most High searcheth all things, all hearts, Salakia, and understandeth all the imaginations of the thoughts. If thou seek him, he will be found of thee. But if thou forsake him, he will cast thee off forever.
Right. So we understand this, right? The Most High he understands the intents and the thoughts of the heart. He understands our inward parts. Right. That's why we have to make sure that we have to stay clean in the Most High's eyes. Right. Let's go to 2 Samuel 22 and 25. All right. Go to the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 22, verse 25.
This is the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 22, and verse 25.
Right?
Therefore, the Most High hath recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to my cleanliness in his eyesight.
Right, so we want to be clean in the Most High's eyes, right? We want to be clean in our inward parts, right? All right, make sure that we have that righteous spirit within us, right? Because can you take a shower every day and that's gonna make you clean?
Wow.
Right? That's not gonna work.
Not like that.
Right? We have to have that inward renewal of the spirit, right? Becoming that new man. That's that change that the Most High wanted to see us have, right? Through His Son Yahushua. So, right, let's go to another point. The issue I have with the spiritual Israelite doctrine is that we understand that the Most High said He's going to come back to redeem His seed, right? So let's go to that. Let's go because he's dealing with the seed of Israel, right? Let's go to Jeremiah 30 and 10.
Powerful point.
Let's go to Jeremiah 30 and 10. All right, because the Most High, He's not dealing with that, all right? So He's going to say, all right, you get that, all right? Jeremiah 30 and 10.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, and verse 10. Therefore, fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Most High.
Right.
Neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar. And thy seed.
And thy what?
And thy seed.
No, the converts.
And thy seed.
To the proselytes.
And thy seed.
And thy seed.
From the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest.
Right.
And be quiet. And none shall make him afraid.
So we understand that Most High is going to save the seed of Jacob. Right? Not the spirituality of Jacob, right?
So basically you're saying in Esther 8 and 17, it's speaking more on the people of that land who are trying to live like the Jews and follow the Most High's laws. Because that's what they're supposed to be doing.
Right,
Like the other nations are supposed to be following the Most High's laws, and we're the law giver.
Right,
sure everything's in order. And to quantify that, you could bring up 2 Kings chapter 17, verse 23. Just to quantify that, to show that there's an actual presupposition that actually shows the Most High telling His nation to keep the law.
Right, absolutely. And we just said that there's a chronological order of prophecy that has to happen before we get to that point. Like we're not telling anybody to go up to Esau, say stop, or Moab, stop eating the rat right now.
No.
Right, it's not time for that. Why we have to make sure that these chronological order of prophecies have to happen, and because we will be teaching these other nations the law, right? They have to get with the program or get left.
What?
Right? So we understand that.
Get down, lay down.
Right. So I want to get that point up. I want to say on The seed of Israel, right? Who the Most High was going to say. Well, that's a perfect point, right?
39? Yeah, 30.
Yeah,
10.
Con.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 10.
Con.
Therefore, fear thou not, O my servant Jacob,
Right.
saith the Most High. Neither be dismayed, O Israel, for
Right.
lo, I will save thee from afar,
Con.
and thy seed from the land of their captivity.
Con.
And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid.
Right? So we understand that the Most High is coming back for his seed. Right? Let's go to Psalms chapter 105. Psalms chapter 105, let's start at verse 6. Right?
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 105 and verse 6.
Right?
O ye seed of Abraham,
Right?
his servant.
Right? So a lot of people say, oh, you can have the faith of Abraham and you can become a child of God.
Right.
Right? You can become a child of Abraham. Right?
Right.
But the scriptures talk about you have to be of the seed of Abraham. Right? Keep going.
O ye seed of Abraham, his servant, ye children of Jacob, his chosen. He is the Most High, our power. His judgments are in all the earth.
Right?
He hath remembered his covenant forever, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations,
Right.
which covenant he made with Abraham, and his oath unto Isaac, and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting
It
covenant.
was an everlasting covenant to the seed of Abraham,
Right.
his servants. Right? Let's get Isaiah 44 and 1. Right? Let's get Isaiah 44 and 1. Right? Right? So this is what the Bible teaches, man. These words are not ours, right? We're going through the scriptures, right? We're given the sense, right? To cause them to understand the reading. Right? Isaiah 44 verse 1.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 44 and verse 1.
Con.
Yet now hear, O Jacob my servant, and Israel whom I have chosen.
Right?
Thus saith the Most High that made thee, and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob my servant,
Right?
and thou Jeshurun, whom I have chosen.
Right?
For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty,
Right.
and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed.
Thy what?
Upon thy seed.
I will pour my spirit upon thy seed. Right? I will pour my spirit upon thy seed. That's who's gonna receive the spirit. A lot of people like to go to Joel 2 and say, see, look, it says all flesh.
Right.
Will receive the spirit. No, that's talking about the seed of Israel. He's gonna pour his spirit upon his seed. Keep going.
Con, and my blessing upon thine offspring.
And my what?
My blessing upon mine offspring.
And the blessing upon thine offspring. Right? Another word for offspring is what? Your children. Your children.
Generations.
Your generations. Your posterity. Your descendancy. Right? So we understand this. Right? So let's go to 2 Samuel 7 and 23. Salakia, not that. Let's go to 1 Peter 2 and 9, the classic, right? 1 Peter 2 and 9. Right? 1 Peter 2 and 9.
Con. This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 9.
Uh-huh.
But ye are a chosen generation.
We are a chosen generation, right? That word, what's the suffix for generation? It's your genes, right? You are a chosen generation. Keep going,
A royal priesthood.
Uh-huh.
And holy nation.
Right.
A peculiar people.
right?
That ye should show forth the praise of him who hath called you out of darkness into the marvelous light.
Right? And we understand this. We are that chosen generation. The ESV says that we are a chosen race, right? Keep going.
Con. Verse 10. Which in time past were not a people, but are now the people of the Most High.
Uh-huh.
Which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy.
We understand that happened to us. We can precept that with Hosea,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
We were the people that lost our way, right? That was following the laws of the ways of these other nations,
Con.
right? We was following the heathens' ways, right? And we doing that today, right? But our people got to return back to the Most High while He may be found,
Con.
right? So let's go to 2 Samuel 7 and 23. Right? 2 Samuel 7 and 23. Right? We have to understand, before Esther, the people of God was already established,
Right.
right? So there can't be any addition to the people of God if it was already established.
Con. Great point.
Right? The Most High already established, and not only were they already established, He already established covenants with the people of God.
Con.
Those people that became spiritual Jews, they did not receive any inheritance.
Wow.
They did not receive now the covenants. the giving of the law, the service of God, and the promises, that was only given to the Israelites, right? Descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? It's a blessing that we received, right? That only the Israelites received, right? So let's go to 2 Samuel 7 and 23.
This is the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 7 and verse 23. And what one nation in the earth is like thy people, even like Israel?
Right, he's boasting, right? He's like, who's like Israel, right? What nation can touch Israel, right? Who's better than us, right? What one nation can compare to Israel, right? Keep going.
Even like Israel, whom the Most High went to redeem for a people to himself, and to make him a name,
right?
And to do for you great things and terrible for thy land,
right?
Before thy people, which thou redeemest to thee from Egypt, from the nations and their gods.
Right. So that's what he's saying. He says, what nation is like Israel, right? And this cuts the spiritual doctrine, because it explains that this is not a spiritual Israel, because this is the same Israel that was redeemed out of Egypt. Those Jews that became, those quote unquote, those people that became Jews, right, that was following the laws, that's just cleaving to the nation of Israel, right? They did not get redeemed out of Egypt.
Right.
Those people was already established with Moses, right? That was going through the Red Sea, right? Keep going.
Verse 24.
Right.
For thou hast confirmed to thyself.
For thou hast confirmed to thyself. He gave us full confirmation. Keep going.
Thy people Israel to be a people unto thee forever.
Right.
And thou, Most High, art become their power.
And it's straight like that, man. That the Most High will be our power and we will be his people forever. Right? That was the blessing that we was given. Right? That came down to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right? Right? The blessings of the Most High was given to the children of Israel. Right? The descendants, the bloodline of the children of Israel. Right? We can't dismiss that. That's a real thing, man. Right? So all praise to the Most High. You know, hopefully, everybody was edified. You know, he showed it was just sharper, and even if these are concepts that you understood. You know, just making sure that we're sharpening our sword, making sure that we're continuing to study and staying in that spirit, right? Because we have to study to show ourselves approved and to be able to defend what we teach, right? To defend the gospel. Right? Even that in Philippians 1:17, right? We have to be able to defend the gospel, right? That we teach that we're descendants of the Most High, right? Like Kanye said, we're the blood of Christ, right? Right? You know, but we understand that this is the gospel that we have to defend, right? We go to Philippians,
and that's the thing right there, and that's the difference. You know, you got brothers like Kanye, which they have a very large platform, you know, to kind of wake people up. But if whoever was interviewing him decided to go to say, hey, Kanye, you know, can you give me something out the Bible to prove? Will he know how to do that?
Right,
and that's why it's so important. Like when we have these classes, to take notes, right? It's not just about listening. You know, don't just watch camp videos where we're arguing back and forth with people. But take notes in these classes. These classes are actually more important in a lot of instances than the street teachers, right? The camp videos, because we're giving you breakdowns and precepts. This is that food that you need, right? We're going from milk and we're going into meat, right? So this is that way that you'll be able to defend your faith. Philippians?
Chapter 1, verse 17.
This is the book of Philippians, chapter 1 and verse 17.
Right.
But the other of love, knowing that I am set for the defense of the gospel.
And that's what we have to be set for, the defense of the gospel. Right? We understand that we are set for the defense of the gospel. Right? But we understand that they see us as that ostracized nation. Right? We're that different nation. Right? Even when you read Esther, it's like there's these people in the land that's keeping laws and statutes and commandments. So like, who are they?
Who are these people?
Who are these people? Right? Showing you that we were not a part of these people, and these people are not a part of us. Right? Even when Pilate delivered Yahushua, he said, "Your nation delivered them to me." Right? Let me get that in John 18. John 18 and 35. All right? John 18 and 35.
I still got that precept too.
Come. We're gonna get that right after this. Come.
Holding that precept.
Come.
That one is nasty.
Come.
This is the book of St. John, chapter 18 and verse 35.
Right.
Pilate answered, Am I a Jew?
Right?
Thine own
He said,
nation.
thine own nation, Yahweh Shai, your nation, right? The nation of Israel. Thine own nation, right?
And the chief priests
Uh-huh.
have delivered thee unto me.
Right?
What hast thou done?
Right, so that's the point, saying thine own nation. He understood, Pilate understood that.
Con.
That he was from a nation that was not his. Right? So let's get that point in 2 Kings. What was that?
17 and 23 down to 28. Like context.
2 Kings. We're going to go to the book of 2 Kings, chapter 17, verse 23.
Con. Con. This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 17 and verse 23. Until the Most High removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants, the prophets, so was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and from Cutha and from Sepharvaim and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not the Most High. Therefore the Most High sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, The nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria, now, Salakia, know not the manner of the Most High of the land. Therefore he hath sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the power of the land. Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, Carrying thither one of the priests whom ye brought from thence, and let them go and dwell there, and let him teach them the manner of the power of the land. Then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear the Most High.
That's powerful. Right? So you see the Most High, if you're not understanding the law, statutes, and commandments, right, you're going to receive that judgment. Right? You have to have your people, or our people, to teach you the law, statutes, and commandments, so you receive that judgment. That's a powerful precept. Right? So we understand it's going to be at that time in you know, when we're going to actually teach these other nations these laws, statutes, and commandments. Right? When we look at the chronological order of prophecy.
What you got up?
They
grafted in.
Right?
They grafted in?
Yeah, they grafted in, yes. Right. Well, we understand that while olive branch was dealing with Israel.
Right.
Right? Right. Let's go to Romans 11. Not Romans 11. Let's go to Jeremiah 12. Right? Jeremiah 12 and 16. Jeremiah 11 and 16. Select you.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 11 and verse 16. The Most High called thy name, a green olive tree.
Right, we understand that the green olive tree is always in reference to Israel. Keep going.
Fair and of goodly fruit. With the noise of a great tumult, he had kindled fire upon it, and the branches of it are broken.
Right.
For the Most High of hosts that planted thee hath pronounced evil against thee.
Right.
For the evil of the house of Israel and of the house of Judah, which they have done against themselves to provoke me to anger in offering incense unto Baal.
Right, so we understand that Israel is referred to as the green olive tree. Right? Right? And those branches that was broken was due to unbelief, right? In his son. Right? We understand that even David referred to himself as the olive tree. Let's get Psalms 52 and 8. Right? Psalms 52 and 8. Psalm 52 and 8.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 52 and verse 8. But I am like a green olive tree in the house of the Most High.
Right.
I trust in the mercy of the Most High forever and ever.
Right, so we understand that David understood he was like that green olive tree. That's always in reference to Israel. Right? So we understand that the Most High is not dealing with these other nations. Right? The Most High is dealing with the blood descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right? It's not a spiritual Israelite. Right? You can't wake up on one day, I'm going to be from the tribe. It's like they had a list, right? It said, pick what tribe you're on, I'm going to be from the tribe of Levi.
Right,
I'm going to be from the tribe of Benjamin. That doesn't make any sense, man. All right? There's inheritance that comes with these tribes that you're just not a part of.
Right.
Right? You can be a spiritual Jew all you want, but when it comes to these blessings, right, the service of God and the promises, you're not receiving none of that. Right? The Most High said all these things pertain to the children of Israel.
Everybody wants to be a part of this exclusive club, because that's really what it is. That's even where, you know, you got the mafia and stuff like that, and they talk in gangs and all this other stuff, and they talk about blood in and blood out, and that comes from the scriptures, because being an Israelite is the most exclusive club that you can ever come from and be a part of, right? And it's only blood in, blood out. We made a blood covenant with the Most High, you know, becoming His people and Him being our power, right? So yeah, there's no grafting in, and there definitely isn't any spiritual Israelites. That's like the officer said, replacement theology. So,
and they want to be spiritual Israelites, but not go through any of the curses. That's wicked.
You know,
right?
and that draws parallels with being quote unquote black.
Right.
Everybody want to be black, but nobody want to deal with the stuff that comes along with it.
Exactly.
It's the same thing, right?
You don't have to go through the curses, but you want to go through the blessings.
Right. Let's jump straight to the kingdom.
Come on, that's no, the Most High's not dealing with that, man.
Right.
The Most High's not dealing with that. That wouldn't be just, right? So all praise to the Most High. You know, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the portion. You know, the portion is Genesis 25 and 19 through Genesis 28 and 9. I can read it.
Okay, fine.
So I'll jump in. This is Genesis 26. All
right.
Genesis 26.
Fine. Again, the portion is Genesis 25 and 19 through Genesis 28 and 9. So whenever you get
should have brought a water bottle.
I got something. I actually got something in the front. All right, I'm there. Go ahead. I can get it.
Come on, put it. I'm a little
Parched. We got something. The water. Come on, so chapter 25 and verse 19.
This book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 19. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Paddan Aram, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Most High for his wife, because she was barren. And the Most High was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived.
Right.
And the children struggled together within her. And he said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord.
So Rebekah is pregnant, right? She was able to conceive, right? Because Isaac went to the Most High in prayer, right? And she conceived. But in the midst of her conception, she's got pains, right? She's got things going on in her stomach, and she's like, you know, something ain't right. What's going on, right? So
I had another point I wanted to bring out. I think it's just powerful, man, that when you look at the scriptures, the Most High, right? Come on, King. The Most High literally, she was praying, right? Because she was barren, right? She was barren, and they prayed, and not only did the Most High hear her prayer,
right,
and she didn't just get one child; she got two.
She got two.
And that's just the power of the Most High, man. You pray for something, the Most High will give you double, man. Right? Now, we understand that in this situation. Right. It came, you know, a demon came out.
Right. It was a fulfillment of prophecy.
It was a fulfillment of prophecy. But we understand that the Most High, that's how he works, man. He will bless you with more than you asked for.
Absolutely.
Right? She was in a barren state. Well, now she got two kids coming on the way. Right? So that's just a powerful thing from the Most High, man. So, verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren, and the Most High was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Most High. And the Most High said unto her, two nations are in thy womb.
So 2 nations, right? What is a nation? Right? A nation is another way of saying nationality. So she's got 2 nations, 2 nationality, 2 manner of people, 2 different types of people in her womb. Read on.
And two manner of people shall be separated.
Shall be what?
Shall be separated
Uh-huh.
from thy bowels.
Right.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
So it says there's going to be these two nations, these two nationalities are going to be separated. Right? And we know throughout Scripture, the Most High has been separating us from the very beginning. Right? So two nations, two nationalities, two manner of people, two different groups of people have been conceived in this Israelite sister's womb, right? And they're going to be separated, right? And it says the one shall be stronger than the other, right? So us knowing that we're Israel, right? So-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? And the other nations, and we can it doesn't matter. Ishmael, Esau, Moab, Ammon, Ham, it doesn't matter. We all know that when it comes to us going up against any of those nations, right? And these trials are done every 4 years in a slick way. It's just called the Olympics, right? They run these trials every 4 years to see how they measure up to Israel, right? But, you know, every year you see that Israel always prevails. We're still the strongest. We're still the fastest, right? We're the smartest. So Esau knows what's going on, right? That's why they do things like have the Olympics every 4 years, right? It's like a litmus test to see if anything's changed. All right, read on.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. And the elder shall serve the younger.
And the what?
And the elder shall serve the younger.
Okay, so remember that point. The elder shall serve the younger. Read on.
And when their days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
There were twins in her womb. So you got to understand that there are two different types of twins. You have paternal twins and you have fraternal twins. So the difference is the paternal twins actually look alike, right? I don't know if identical would fall into that category. So let's look that up. Let's get the breakdown on that. Because I know that fraternal twins, right? It means that they don't necessarily look the same. Because and you can kind of like in college you have fraternities, right? They call themselves frat brothers, fraternal brothers, right? So they're calling themselves a brotherhood, right? None of them look alike or whatever, but they're fraternal brothers, right? So it's the same thing in this instance right here. They're fraternal brothers. They don't look alike, but they're brothers, right? They're twins, right?
You right. Fraternal twins,
Yeah.
They'll be fraternal twins.
Fraternal could also be a male and a female, right? They're twins, but they're different genders, but they come from the same womb, right? So that would be fraternal. Now, on the other hand,
the paternal falls into that identical.
The paternal okay, I thought so. So the paternal, right? The paternal twins would be an instance of identical twins, and maybe not even exactly identical,
not exactly, right.
But very, very, very close in looks, right? So those are the two differences when it comes to twins. So it said, when her days to be fulfilled, she had twins in her womb, right? So she had 2 children. All right, read on. Verse 25.
And the first came out red all over,
came out what?
Red all over.
Okay.
Like in a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau.
They called his name what?
Esau.
Right. So, if you got anything.
So let's go to 1 Samuel 17 and 42. We understand in the English language, it doesn't really do justice when it comes to what it's actually describing. All right, let's go to 1 Samuel 17 and 42. All right.
1 Samuel 17 and 42. This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 17 and verse 42.
Right.
And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth,
right,
and ruddy, and of a fair countenance.
Now David is called ruddy, right? Let's look up that word ruddy in the Hebrew, right? Look at that word ruddy in the Hebrew, Right, 1 Samuel 17 and 42.
Get your pen and paper out. This is very important stuff right here.
Right, because we have to understand when we say Esau is the white man, right? We could go to this verse, but we have to have a little bit more substantial evidence. Now, the rebuttals to this, where we say, see, look, Esau's called red, right? Well, let's look up that word for red in the Hebrew. It's admoni, right? That word admoni is red,
Right.
or ruddy of Esau. So now, if our logic is, well, Esau's called red, that makes him the white man. Wait, David is called red. Does now that make him the white man too? If we go off that logic,
Right.
We now have to break down what is this talking about on the context, right? So let's first look at this, right? Somebody give me now. Anybody familiar with Malcolm X?
Con.
Right. So Malcolm X. Does anybody know what his nickname was? Somebody look up Malcolm X nicknames, right? Because we get this, because we all agree that that David was a black man, right? So let's get that, right?
Con.
Yeah, they called him Red.
I got it right here.
Bring it out.
So Malcolm X nicknames. It was Detroit Red.
It was what?
Detroit Red.
It was Detroit Red. Now we see Malcolm X, right? Obviously he didn't look like a redneck. They called him Detroit Red. Right? I don't know if it's appropriate, you know, they called it red man. What's that funny thing?
Was that?
Red man.
I don't think it's off.
Right? So we understand that, right? So we understand that he was called red, right? But that red is not dealing with Esau, right? Right, O'Connor, Red Fox.
Red Fox.
His name is Red Fox.
Right. They actually they actually ran together. They were really close friends, Malcolm X and Red Fox. So you had Detroit Red and Red Fox.
Right, and these are black men.
And they're very similar in appearance and color.
So we understand that there is this red that's in reference to Ruddy or David and things like that. Then you have the red in reference to Esau. And we're going to break down that point as well. Let's go to Song of Solomon, right? Song of Solomon. All right. Let's go to Song of Solomon right quick. All right. Said my beloved is ready and ready.
Shalom.
Alright, so let's go to Song of Solomon chapter, I think that's 1 verse 10. It said 5 and 10?
You said 5?
Yeah, let's try 5. Go ahead, you do that.
This is the book of Song of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 10.
Right.
My beloved is white and ruddy.
And what?
And ruddy.
So now it's saying that Solomon is white and ruddy. Right? Now is it saying that he's actually, is this the same, and that's the same word, admoni, right, for Esau.
Right.
So now are we saying that Solomon also looks like a white man? No, we have to understand that there's this red that Malcolm X looked like, right? And then we're going to further substantiate, okay, now if that's the case, what do we go to also prove that Esau is that redneck, redneck man, right? So we're going to go back to Genesis, right? Go back to Genesis, right? So these are some of the rebuttals that the people like to say, right? They say, well, y'all say Esau's red. Well, Solomon's called red. David's called red. Does that mean he's an Edomite too?
Right.
Right? So we have to kind of, go a little bit more in depth to bring forth that strong reason, like the scriptures say, right? So let's go to Genesis. Let's go back to Genesis 25 and 25.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 25. And the first came out red, all over, like in hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
Right.
And his name was called Jacob.
Right.
And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare him.
Right. You guys into that?
Fine. Let me get I want to go back a little bit. Let me get 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 8. Because in Genesis 25 and 26, it says, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, right? So that was symbolic for something, right? That didn't happen for a reason, and that point wasn't brought out for no reason, right? So let's get the sense on that. Second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 8.
The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
So now we're revisiting that whole situation, right? Jacob's hand holding on to Esau. And what does that signify according to the scriptures? Read.
For Esau is the end of the world.
Esau's what?
The end of the world. And Jacob is the beginning of it that follows.
So that's what that's symbolizing, because Esau is the end of the world, right? Esau is the end of this of what's going on in the world right now. They rule this world right now. This is their kingdom, right? So everything that's going on, it's a product of Esau's rulership. Right. You know, the atmosphere being in ruins, the water, the food, you know, the people in the uproar, the condition of you know, relations between other countries and stuff like that. It's in ruin because Esau is in rulership, right? And it says that Jacob is that which followeth, right? So when Yahushua comes back, right, we will be put back in our rightful place, and we'll be ruling the world as it should be, in righteousness. It won't be in wickedness. You got a precept? Okay, it won't be in wickedness that, you know, that the world's being ruled in right now. What you got?
I was gonna say, if Esau was an Arab, man, we got one more captivity to go through.
Come on, exactly. And we ain't trying to go through no another captivity. That's dead.
I wanted to read actually verse 7.
Read.
That's what Paul says. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the time? So when are these times are going to start to change?
Right.
Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? So when you see that when you see the sign of the time, when Esau's kingdom starts to come down, then we see that our salvation is near.
That's right. Hallelujah. I can't wait for that. All praises. All right. So back to
Genesis 25
and 27.
This is the book of Genesis chapter 25 verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob.
Right.
And Jacob sawed pottage. And this is the point I want to bring out. Remember this. Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. So now they're using this red pottage and saying, see, this is why he's now called Edom. So now let's look up red lentils. Right? Look up, it's a company called Bob's Red Lentils, right? Let's look up this Edomite.
Esau telling on himself.
Right? He's telling on himself, right? Let's look at what's called Bob's Red Lentils. Let's look at that right quick, right? This is that pinkish Edomite look right here, right? You see that?
Right. Goya even got something.
Right,
Go to the image and see if I can show that. Isn't that something? Hopefully everybody can see that. Can you see that on the view? So it's an example of the red lentils, right?
This was the red pottage that he sought for, and this is why they just said, okay, this is Esau, right? That red lentil, that pinkish reddish, that's how Esau looked, right? And they gave a description of what he represents, of how his description would look like, right? Just to substantiate how what red he's talking about is that pink red,
that pink
right?
red,
that
right?
redneck. Right? So let's go back. Genesis 25, verse 31. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die.
Back. 31.
And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright.
So remember that point, because that is an extremely important point, right? He said, Esau said, Jacob said, sell me your birthright. He didn't steal anything, right? This is a very important point. Read on.
And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?
Esau said, what the heck I'm going to do with this birthright? I'm about to die. You can't have that thing, bro. I'm good. I just want some soup. I'm hungry. You know, that's all Esau was on at that point. So he could care less about his birthright. So if you have to isolate this and you know, remember this section right here, because this is extremely important. Because you'll hear people try to say that Jacob stole the birthright, but Jacob never stole the birthright. That's a lie, right? Read on.
And Jacob said, swear to me this day.
He said what?
Swear to me this day.
He made him swear. He made him make an oath, right? He made him make an oath, right? Read on.
Swear to me this day, and he sware unto him.
He did it. Read.
And he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
No, Jacob stole it.
He sold his birthright unto Jacob.
He sold his birthright to Jacob. So you hear all of these, you hear different doctrines about Jacob stealing. Jacob's name is actually supplant, right? It means to supplant, right? But you got to remember, this is a fulfillment of prophecy right here.
Right.
So he never stole it. Don't just gloss over this part like it's not here.
Right.
It was given away, and he made an oath. Right. Read on.
And Jacob said unto him, and Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore to him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, what we just brought out.
Right.
And he did eat and drank, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
This man despised his birthright. Right? Now, let's not act like Esau and Jacob didn't know their lineage. Let's not act like they didn't know the greatness of their forefathers. Right? That's asinine to think that they didn't know that. Right? Because all the traditions that Israel had was oral. So they knew the greatness of the birthright. But he said he despised that thing. Right? So Esau's stupid, if you ask me. That was just on him. He just made a mistake. He made a rash decision. But honestly and obviously, it was a part of prophecy.
The scriptures say that the wicked is estranged from the womb.
Right.
So he already said, man, I don't want this birthright. Right. So we understand that that's just the nature of Esau at work. Right. Full display. Right. This book of Genesis, chapter 26, verse 1. And there was a famine in the land, beside the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. And the Most High appeared unto him and said, go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and I will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the star of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws.
So as you can see right here, the Most High is good at reiterating his promises or his oath that he made, to Abraham, and he's making it known that nothing's changed. He's still gonna come through with the promises that he made to Abraham.
So let's go on into these couple commandments that we understand that Abraham had right before this codified law of Moses. Let's go to Genesis 4:1. Right, there was laws that was already in effect. Right, like you brought out that oral tradition. Right, let's go to Genesis 4.
This is the book of Genesis 4:1.
We can start at verse 2.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 2. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Most High.
Of the fruit of the ground offering to the Most High, right?
And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock.
Of the what?
Of the firstlings of his flock.
The firstlings of his flock. Keep going.
And of the fat thereof. And the Most High had respect unto Abel and to his offering.
So let's see where this is at in the Torah, right? The firstlings of his flock. Right, let's go to Deuteronomy 14 and 22. Right? Deuteronomy 14 and 22. Right? Right? Deuteronomy. If Abraham was keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Right? If Abraham was with Moses' time, he would have kept the Passover. Right? He would have kept Feast of Tabs.
Right?
Because he was already obedient to the Most High. Right? So let's go to Deuteronomy 14 and 22.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14 and verse 22. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year. And thou shalt eat before the Most High thy power, in the place which he shall choose to place his name there. The tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the firstlings of thy herds.
And the what?
And the firstlings of thy herds.
Is the same thing that was mentioned in Genesis 4. The firstlings of the flock. The firstlings of thy herd. Keep going.
And of thy flocks.
And of thy what?
Of thy flocks. That thou mayest learn to fear the Most High thy power always.
So we understand that these things were already occurring, right? Before it was actually codified, gave them the understanding, put more rules to it, right? Let's go to another example. Let's go to Genesis 7 and 2. Right? Genesis 7 and 2. Right? Genesis 7 and 2. Right?
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 7 and verse 2. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens, the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by two, the male and his female.
So we understand that there was already this understanding of the clean beast and the unclean beast. All right, let me get Leviticus 11 and 47. All right? Leviticus 11 and 47.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 47. To make a difference between the unclean and the clean, and between the beast that may be eaten and the beast that may not be eaten.
Right, so the Most High just expounded on these rules that he mentioned already. Right, let's go to Genesis 9 and 4. Alright. Genesis 9 and 4.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 9 and verse 4. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat.
I want a rare steak.
Shall ye not eat.
Right, you see a lot of Edomites, they love to eat them rare steaks, man.
Disgusting.
Right,
medium
rare.
Pink,
right?
red.
Right, bleeding.
Right.
They're still moving.
With no seasoning too.
Right, no seasoning either, man. I don't know how they do it.
I've seen Salakia. I've seen videos on social media where you got Esau biting into steaks like right out the pack.
Wow.
Just eating it right out the pack. No heat to it, no nothing. Just
Esau's profane, man.
I see even like women eating ground beef raw. Like,
I think I saw that.
The whole family, they said it was like a thing that they grandma passed down to. They eat it raw.
The whole family?
Right, that's come on. That's just the nature of Esau on display, man. On display. Jake is not doing that.
No,
he's not doing it. He's not going for it.
God, it's not.
Now Jake be going off, but he don't be going that off.
Not like that.
Not like that. That's sickening, man.
That is.
You know, that's why these scriptures are not for them. That's why the scriptures say, I found that Israel has kept the precepts, but not the heathen. Right? The heathen, they're not doing that. They're not keeping these laws, man.
They're not on that.
Right? So let's get that. Read that Genesis 9 and 4 again.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 9 and verse 4.
But
flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat.
So you're not supposed to eat that blood. Right? Let's go to Genesis. Let's go to Leviticus 17 and 10. Right, Leviticus 17 and 10. Right, these scriptures walk hand in hand with each other. Right, it's only the Christian church that don't have this understanding.
Right.
Right. Let's get Leviticus 17 and let's start at verse 10.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 17 and verse 10.
Right.
And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, that eateth any manner of blood,
right,
I will even set my face against that soul that eateth blood, and will cut him off from among his people.
Right, so that you cannot eat blood. The Most High said he will cut you off from doing that. Right, let's get Leviticus 7 and 26. Right. Leviticus 7 and 26.
So if you had the office potluck and they, somebody bringing steaks or grilling steaks or something like that, you had an office party and Esau on the grill.
Yeah, you got to tell Esau, yo.
You got to tell him. Yeah,
burn it. God. Right. Don't play with it.
Cut it open. Make sure you check that thing. You might have to get on the grill yourself.
Right.
Was it 7 and
7 and 26?
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 7 and verse 26. Moreover, ye shall eat no manner of blood, whether it be of fowl or of beast, in any of your dwellings. Whatsoever soul it be that eateth any manner of blood, even that soul shall be cut off from his people.
Yeah, we see it time and time and again. All right, let's get one more. Leviticus 19 and 26. All right. Leviticus 19 and 26. Right. This was even the commandment or the understanding that was given to the Israelites that turned back from their wicked ways in Acts. It says, don't eat things that are strangled and with blood. Right? So that understanding was already there. Right? So Leviticus 19 and 26.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 26.
Right.
Ye shall not eat anything with the blood.
Right.
Neither shall ye use enchantment nor observe times.
Right. So let's get that account in Acts right quick. Acts 15.
Acts 15?
Acts 15 and 20.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 15 and verse 20. But that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols, and from fornication, and from things strangled, and from blood.
And from what?
From blood.
So you understand that these things go hand in hand, right? There's harmony in the scriptures, right? When we go precept upon precept, right? The Most High was not dealing with the people eating blood, right? And this is actually another cut to that whole. It's not what goes into you that defiles you, right?
Right.
If that was the case, then why does it matter not to eat blood?
Right.
You feel me? They'll not even mention that. You know what I'm saying? It'll be nothing.
Great
right?
point, Art. Great point.
So the scriptures go hand in hand, right? The scriptures have to walk together to be agreed.
It's harmonious.
Right? It's harmonious. So let's go back to that Genesis 26 and 5. So you understand that, obviously we understand that in Genesis, the Passover was not there before the actual event happened.
Right.
But we see that there's instances of the law already being mentioned, demonstrated in the scriptures already. So it's Genesis chapter 26, verse 6. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar, and the men of the place asked him of his wife. And he said, she is my sister, for he feared to say, she is my wife.
So here we go again. This is another instance of the same situation. Different people, same bloodline, obviously, but going through this situation again, right? So, but we know this is a righteous act, right? Because he's being wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove. Read on.
And the men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, she is my sister, for he feared to say, she is my wife, lest, said he, the men of the place should kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon.
Because she was what?
Fair to look upon.
Reiterating the fact again that Israel, Israel got some bad sisters. Hey, listen, all 12 tribes, they don't get no better than Israel. So shout out to all the sisters in Israel, right? Y'all be having the nations in derision, boy. They be confounded when they see y'all sisters. Right? Read on.
And it came to pass, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out at a window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah his wife.
So sporting, when you look at the word sporting, sporting would be like flirting with her, playing around, like not the way that a brother would play around with a sister, but the way that a husband would play around with a wife, you know, having a good time, basically, yeah, you know, hugging up with her, kissing her, stuff like that. He was sporting, you know, he was having a good time with his rib, you know. Con. 9 and 9. I know you was going. That one been coming out a lot lately, boy.
You gotta live. You gotta.
What? For real? And this is very specific. I want to. Oh yeah, this is. I'm glad you brought this out. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9 and verse 9.
Right.
It says, "Live joyfully, live joyfully,
right?
Not in strife."
Right.
Let's break this thing down.
God,
Break it down.
God, let's get
Live joyfully, right? Live joyfully with the wife whom thou lovest all the days of the life of thy vanity, because we know that life is vain. It ain't really nothing to it, right? You got to serve the Most High, and it's a gift to do so, right? Life is a gift, but it's short, right? So in the life of your vanity, because nothing that you accrue in this life, whether it be riches, material things, all of that stuff is vanity. But what counts? What counts? Your wife, your children, your akim wa akwathium. That's what counts, right? So it says, live joyfully with the wife whom thou lovest all the days of thy life, of thy vanity, which he hath given thee under the sun, all the days of thy vanity. For that, right there, living joyfully with that wife, for that is thy portion in this life, and in thy labor which thou takest under the sun. That's what counts. That's it right there. So going back to this account of Isaac, you know, sporting with his wife, that's happiness right there. You know what I'm saying? That's a good time.
Your rib can't make you happy, Op.
Right?
Nah.
Oh man.
Nah, Op.
When these brothers be saying stuff like that, they miserable at home. They got a scorpion at home. Right? They need to have. Hey, listen. If your rib is going off, fast and pray for your rib. You chose her. The Most High gave her to you. Right? Fast and pray for your rib if she going off, if she going through it. Right? Only the Most High can fix that. But love your wife. Love your husbands. Go ahead, it's gonna turn into another class. Go ahead. Come on, let's get it. Proverbs 5 and 18.
That's
right. We can't be making it seem like our women are our enemy, man. That's going the heck off, man. We gotta love our wives. We gotta deal with them. Our wives gotta love us and deal with us. You know. Come on. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 5, and verse 18. Let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Right? Let her be as the loving hind, Salakia. Let her be as the loving hind and pleasant roe. Let her breast satisfy thee at all times, and be thy ravished always with her love.
That's beautiful.
Always. It doesn't say sometimes. It don't say when you feel like it. It don't say when your game when the game's on the commercial. It don't say when you get done playing the PlayStation. Always love your rib. You know.
That's a beautiful precept.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. All praises to the Most High.
It says, and be thou ravished always with her love.
Always. Right? Because that's a gift from the Most High. Right? In this vain life. So back to Isaac sporting with Rebecca, because she was fine. She was fine. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. What? It's in all of the family boys. Hey, listen. Go ahead. We were on verse 9, I believe.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 26, verse 9. And Abimelech called Isaac and said, Behold, of a surety she is thy wife. And how sayest thou, she is my sister? And Isaac said unto him, Because I said, lest I die for her. And Abimelech said, What is this thou hast done unto us? One of the people might lightly have lied with thy wife, and thou shouldest have brought guiltiness upon us. And Abimelech charged all his people, saying, He that touches this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Then Isaac sold in that land and received the same year at 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him.
How much did he receive?
100-fold, and the Lord blessed him.
So Isaac sold in the land that same year. The same year he received in 100-fold. Right? Now I don't know much about agriculture, but that's not typical. to receive 100-fold in your first harvest, right? So let me get there's a reason for that. Let me get Matthew chapter 13 and verse 23. Let's see why. Let's see why. Because we already talked about, you know, the keeping of the law. Even though it was codified, right, and it wasn't written yet, it was still known. Read that.
This book of Matthew chapter 13 verse 23.
Uh-huh.
But he that receives seed in the good ground is he that heareth the word.
Is he that what?
That heareth the word.
Right. Uh-huh.
And understandeth it.
Right.
Which also beareth fruit.
It does what?
Which also beareth fruit.
Uh-huh.
And bringeth forth some an 100-fold, and some 60, some 30.
Right. So so when you hear and you understand the word, which we know Isaac did, right? You hear and you understand that word, the Most High will bless you in 100-fold, and that was a perfect example that was given with Isaac, right? So that's why he was able to receive that which he received, because he heard and understood the word, right? Just like his forefather Abraham, his father.
Beautiful point.
We were at 12, I think. Yeah. 13. The water.
And the man waxed great, and went forward, and grew until he became very great. For he had possession of flocks, and possession of herds, and great store of servants. And the Philistines envied him. For all the wells which his father's servants had digged in the days of Abraham, his father, the Philistines had stopped them, and filled them with earth. So that means that there was so they basically put dirt and stuff in it?
Yeah, it was wells, you know, water,
right.
And they went behind and they took dirt and they just...
that's wicked, man.
Right, exactly.
And Abimelech said unto Isaac, Go from us, for thou art much mightier than we. And Isaac departed thence and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar and dwelt there. And Isaac digged again the wells of water, which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father. For the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham. And he called their names after the names by which his father had called them. And Isaac's servants digged in the valley, and found there a well of springing water. And the herdmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac's herdmen, saying, The water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him. And they digged another well and strove for that also. And he called the name of it Sitnah.
See, and you see how Isaac is being. Isaac's not really getting into it with them. He's just, okay, y'all got that. I'm gonna move on. He dug 2 more wells, and they still trying to take what this man is getting. Read on.
Verse 22. And he removed from thence and digged another well, and for that they strove not. And he called the name of it Rehoboth. And he said, For now the Lord has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. And he went up from thence to Beersheba. And the Most High appeared unto him the same night, and said, I am the power of Abraham thy father. Fear not, for I am with thee, and will bless thee, and multiply thy seed for thy servant, for my servant Abraham's sake. And he built an altar there, and called upon the name of the Most High, and pitched his tent there, and there Isaac's servants digged a well. Then Abimelech went to him from Gerar, and Ahuzath, one of his friends, and Phicol, the chief captain of his army. And Isaac said unto them, Wherefore come ye to me, seeing ye hate me, and have sent me away from you? And they said, We saw certainly that the Lord was with thee.
Did he say what?
And we saw certainly that the Most High was with thee. And we said, Let there be now an oath between us, even between us and thee, and let us make a covenant with thee, that thou wilt do us no hurt, as we have not touched thee, and as we have done unto thee nothing but good, and have sent thee away in peace. Thou art now blessed of the Most High.
And see, he didn't want to bring up the fact that they were striving with the man over his wells, right? But when they see that the man is blessed, then they want to come and they want to make a covenant with him, right? But that's the wickedness of the other nations, right? We see this type of stuff all the time. It's the same thing. It's crafty. It's just craftiness. It's wickedness that the other nations, they hide their hand. You know, they throw a rock and then they hide their hand. They come speaking smooth words, but in their heart is war the whole time, right? So this is something that we see all the time. Read on.
And he made them a feast, and they did eat and drink.
He did what?
And he made them a feast, and they did eat and drink.
And this is the goodness of Israel, right? We see this all the time too. They do us wrong, we still nice. We still have a good heart towards people, right? Even though we shouldn't have a good heart towards our enemies, right? But it happens all the time because it's in our spirit to be this way. Read on. Where you at?
Verse 31.
Okay.
And they rose up betimes in the morning and swore one to another. And Isaac sent them away, and they departed from him in peace. And it came to pass the same day that Isaac's servants came and told him concerning the well which they had digged, and said unto him, We have found water. And he called it Sheba. Therefore the name of the city is Beersheba unto this day. And Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beeri, the Hittite.
The what?
The Hittite. And Bashemath, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite. Which were a grief of mind unto Isaac and unto Rebekah.
Now, why were they a grief of mind unto Isaac and Rebekah? Why is that? Let's go to Deuteronomy 7:3. So Esau took two Hittite women for his wife. Esau be going off, boy. Let's get that Deuteronomy 7:3 real quick.
This book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son,
right? Nor
his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. You want to verse 1?
Yeah, let's go to 1.
This book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 1. When the Most High thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hast cast out many nations before thee. The Hittites.
The who?
The Hittites.
First on the list, read.
And the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mighty than thou. And when the Most High thy power shall deliver thee from before thee, thou shalt smite them, and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them.
We're not supposed to make a covenant with them, nor show mercy to these nations. Read.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Neither shalt thou what?
Make marriages with them.
Read on.
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his daughter, and his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following thee, that they may serve other powers.
And that's why the Most High put that ordinance in there for us to not to deal with those nations. But Esau said, "Listen, the hell with all that. I want me a Hittite woman. Matter of fact, I want two." And Esau went and did what he did, right? So this is why in verse 35 it says, going back to 34, it says, and Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and Bashemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, which were a grief of mine unto Isaac and to Rebekah. That was a grievous thing to his parents, right? Because they knew better. They knew who he was supposed to take for a wife, and it was the children of his of the daughters of his forefathers. But he decided not to do that. He going off already. Matter of fact, he was going on before that because he hated Jacob in his heart. You're not supposed to hate your brother. Right. So he been going on, right? That's just the wickedness of Esau. All right, let's chapter 27.
Book of Genesis, chapter 27, verse 1. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son and said unto him, My son. And he said unto him, Behold, here am I. And he said, Behold, now I am old. I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out to the field and take me some venison, and make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die.
So Isaac said to his son, he said to Esau, go get your weapons, because Esau was good with he was good with the bow and arrow. He probably was good with a little field knife or whatever. So he told Esau, listen, go on out there and do what you do, right? Go out there and hunt.
Right, get your bow and arrow.
Right, go in there and cover yourself with some venison urine.
Right.
And go hide up in the bushes.
Right.
And sit for a couple hours and go kill me some venison.
Right.
And hook it up, cook it up, and bring it to me. Right. Your mama probably gonna cook it, but you need to go get it. Right? So that's what he's telling Esau to do, because Isaac was on his deathbed. He was on his way out. Read on.
And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau.
She
his
did
son.
what?
And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son.
Remember that point. Rebekah heard what was going on. Read on.
Right. And Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, Behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau my brother, saying, Bring me venison and make me savory meat, that I may eat, and bless thee before the Lord before my death.
Right. So Rebekah realized that Esau was about to get this blessing. And now, go ahead.
She already caught wind of it before that. Wait, he already sold his birthright. Right? So she's already trying to keep that prophecy in line, because he's not supposed to receive that blessing from Isaac.
Right. And also, she was told by the angel, 2 nations were in thy womb.
Right.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
Right.
So she know what time it is.
Right.
She knows what prophecy is that prophecy has to be fulfilled. So that's why she did what she did. And that was to obey the voice of the Most High. Right?
And it's crazy. I don't know. If Esau can already go out and get his food, why was he seeking Jacob? Seeking Jacob for food.
Right.
That's showing you that prophecy just had to be fulfilled. Because he could have easily went out and got some, but he had to do that for that prophecy to be fulfilled.
Great
for him
point,
to sell his birthright.
Beautiful point.
You see what I'm saying? Because he could have easily just went out and did what he did just now.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Verse
8.
Verse 8. Genesis 25. Genesis 27. Verse 8. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death.
Salakia, I wanted to go back to verse 8. It said, now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee.
Right.
So here again, Jacob did not go off. Jacob was doing what he was supposed to do. Obey thy father and thy mother. Obey my voice, and that's what he did. He didn't go off. Right, he didn't do anything outside of what he was told to do.
Right.
So like,
and it says that, and go. That's a clean animal, right? So you see, Isaac was already in the spirit. Verse 10. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man.
You see, now we see this, right? You see all of those Gillette commercials and Edge Razor commercials.
Right.
And
what's that? So easy a caveman can do it.
So easy a caveman can do it.
They was telling on themselves.
They was telling on themselves.
Right.
You ever watch Flintstones?
Right.
You ever see Jake in the Flintstones?
Right. No.
Never. Never, ever have I ever seen a Jake in the Flintstones.
These are cave dwellerment descriptions.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Verse 12. My father perhaps will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me and not a blessing.
Wow, so Jacob like, yo, mom, this don't feel right. I ain't trying to get a curse instead of a blessing, right? Because, Abba ain't stupid. You know, I know he can't see, but, me and Esau, we're totally different. I'm smooth, and he hairy as I don't know what. So what we going to do about that?
So that means that Jacob, he didn't necessarily catch wind of what was going on.
Right.
So he was not even.
He wasn't privy to what was really going on. Yeah. He was just being told what to do.
Right. Verse 13. And his mother said unto him, Upon me be thy curse.
Upon what?
Upon me be thy curse.
Rebecca said, upon me, I'll take that. I'll take that curse, right? It won't be on you. It's going to be on me. So just do what I'm telling you to do. Read on.
My son, only obey my voice and go fetch me them. And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother. And his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands, and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave the savory meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. And he came unto his father and said, My father. And he said, Here am I. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac said unto his son, How is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because the Most High, thy power, brought it to me. And Isaac said unto Jacob, Come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not.
So Isaac ain't stupid, right? Isaac like, hold on, something don't seem right. I can't see, but come on over here. Cause you got that venison mighty fast. I mean, I know you good with the bow, but it's like it was standing outside the house and you just shot it and just went to cooking it. No, come on over here. Let me feel you right quick. Let me make sure. You know.
Verse 22. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him, and said, The voice is Jacob's voice.
He said, what?
The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands, but the hands are the hands of Esau.
So Isaac like, dang, is my hearing going too?
Right.
Because you showed up sound like you sound like Jacob, but you feel like you feel like Esau.
And you know, it's a funny thing too. The venison. He didn't go out to go hunt and get that venison. It was just right there. Esau went to go hunting. That's how you know he's a man in the field.
I'm good. He loved that thing. Like I said in the beginning, I said, you know, he went out there and covered himself in some venison urine and got up in the bushes and sat there, you know.
He got all that venison back in the crib.
God.
And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. And he said, Art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, Come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Most High has blessed. Therefore, the Most High give thee of the dew of the heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and the plenty of the corn and wine.
So now go back. So therefore, the Most High give thee the dew of the heaven, the dew of heaven,
and the fatness of the earth.
And the fatness of, so the dew of heaven, right, and the fatness of the earth. So the dew of heaven, that's like the moisture that touches the ground, right, from heaven. And it says in the fatness of the earth. The fatness would be the best places, right? It would be the best places of the earth. Read on.
And plenty of corn and wine.
And plenty of corn and wine. Read.
Let people serve thee.
Let what?
Let people serve thee.
So this is a part of the blessing. People are going to serve Jacob, right? Read.
Come. And nations bow down to thee.
And nations what?
And nations bow down to thee.
Nations will be bowing down. This is a blessing that was bestowed upon Jacob. Nations will bow down to the children of Israel, right? Or his descendants. Read on.
Be most high over thy brethren, and be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curses thee,
right?
And blessed be he that blesses thee.
So cursed is everyone that curses us, right? And we know, right, that all the nations of the earth have cursed us. All the nations of the earth have afflicted us and put us into bondage, right? So all of those nations will be cursed. And it says, blessed and bless he that blesseth thee. Ain't nobody blessing us. Nobody's blessing us. Nobody's giving us a helping hand. Nobody's helping us have our own land or helping us have our own communities or our own military might. Nobody's doing that, right? So as it stands, everybody's cursed.
Right.
Everybody's cursed. Read on.
And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting.
So Jacob had just barely left out the crib. He was just left. And then here come Esau coming in. Read.
And he also made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, who?
He said what?
He said, who?
Isaac was shook. He was like, oh man, what did I do? Read.
Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and I've blessed him, yea, and he shall be blessed.
And he gonna be blessed, because I done gave him that blessing. So
Right.
that's dead. You done missed the blessing. Read on.
And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry. And he said unto his father, bless me, even me, also, O my father.
So what's that? He saw the
Hebrews 12 and 6.
Right, because so now, what is Esau doing right now? Esau know good and well he already gave up the blessing.
Right.
He despised that thing. He already gave it up. But now he trying to play the role, right? He's like, oh, you gave my blessing to Jacob. Now he want to cry and he wants to act like he really cares about it, but all he cared about that day was to get some lentil soup. Right? Now all of a sudden he cares about it. It's something that's important to him. Let me get that.
This book of Hebrews chapter 12 verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau.
Or as who?
As Esau.
Right.
For who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
He did what?
Sold his birthright.
He sold his birthright, right? Which we already know. He sold his birthright. Read on.
For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected.
He was what?
He was rejected.
He was rejected because he gave that thing away. Read.
For he found no place of repentance.
There is no place of repentance for Esau or the Edomites. Read.
Though he sought it carefully with tears.
What he do?
He sought it carefully with tears.
And that's what you finna see him do right here. Read. Let's get
Genesis chapter 20,
34.
And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried.
He did what?
He cried. Right.
Right?
With a great and exceeding bitter cry. And said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father.
Right. So now he's crying and he's begging Isaac to bless him. Please bless me, Dad. I need a blessing too. Read on.
And he said, thy father came with subtlety and has taken away thy blessing.
Thy brother.
It's lucky. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety and has taken away thy blessing. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? Hold on.
Right. Go ahead.
He said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright.
Right.
This is Esau at his finest, man. He straight up just lied.
Just straight up lied.
Right? Just after he just cried, put on the whole fit. Well, he took away my birthright too. Right? This is Esau at his finest, man. You sold your birthright.
That's the first Karen.
Right, that's the first Karen, right? You start crying and lying.
Right.
That's Esau at his finest, man.
God.
But he's trying to paint this picture to his father saying, yeah, he did do that.
Right.
He did that twice to me already now.
That Negro wicked.
Right, he's wicked as hell, right? Right, that's Esau, man. And it says, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing. And he said, how, and hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord.
Right.
And all his brethren have I given to him for servants.
For what?
For servants.
Con.
And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me, also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
There he go crying again, right? He sought it carefully with tears, but no place of repentance. Read on.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above.
So it's very similar to what he told Jacob. It's the same thing, right? But remember, Esau's the beginning and Jacob is that which followeth. So Esau's having his time right now, right? He's having the fatness of the earth, right? And the dew of heaven. Read. Verse 40.
Verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live.
Right, and so it says, "And by thy sword shalt thou live." Right, and it doesn't mean, because if you're looking at it carnally, you thinking, oh, it's a sword, right? You know, by a sword, you just finna go hacking up people and stuff like that. No, what it means is going more into the might or having might or power in weaponry. Military force, by the sword, by violence, shall thou live, and that's been demonstrated throughout history, because you know, 77 million Native Americans fighting with themselves, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. There's so many different instances of them utilizing the sword, and that's how they live. Yes, man.
Right, so now when you look at the scriptures, even in 2nd Ezra just talks about, when he sends an arrow, who can stop it, right? We understand that arrow is not talking about an archer. Somebody sending a bow and arrow to Russia, that's talking about what? The missiles, right? So we see that in the scriptures, we have to kind of put that in our modern day understanding, right? It's not always surface value. That's all. It's talking about a sword. Esau can be running around with a sword, right? So it's talking about the military might that you was bringing out, their strength, right? They have the army, the navy, the the Air Force, Marines, right? This is where they get their strength.
Space Force,
right? They live by the sword, right? So this is Esau, right? Verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob.
Esau what?
And Esau hated Jacob.
Read.
Because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
So we know in Leviticus it says we're not supposed to hate our brother. They're brothers. I mean, they were brothers. You know what I mean? So just because one was Jacob, one was Esau, and they're two different, they were still brothers, right? So he hated his brother. And that was another example of Esau going on, right?
Right, because Esau's Hebrew, right?
That's right.
Esau is Hebrew, but we understand that even though they're brothers, there was a couple events happened that kind of separated that. Verse 42. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, proposing to kill thee. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice and arise. Flee thou to Laban, my brother, to Haran, and tarry with him a few days, until thy brother's fear turn away, until thy brother's anger turn away from thee, and he forget that which thou hast done to him. Then I will send and fetch thee from thence. Why should I be deprived also of you both in one day? And Rebekah said unto Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these, which are the daughters of the land, what shall my life do me? What good shall my life do me? Genesis chapter 28, verse 1. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padan Ram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother. And the Most High Almighty bless thee, and make thee fruitful and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people. And give thee the blessing of Abraham to thee, and to thy seed with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which the Most High gave unto Abraham. And Isaac sent away Jacob, and he went to Padan Ram, and Laban, son of Bethuel the Syrian, the mother of Rebekah, Jacob, and Esau's mother. When Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob, and sent him away to Padan Ram to take him a wife from thence, and that as he blessed him, he gave him in charge, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob obeyed his father and his mother, and was gone to Padan Ram. And Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Isaac his father. Last verse, Then went Esau unto Ishmael and took unto the wives which he had Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebajoth, to be his wife.
So he already had 2 wives, 2 Hittite wives. Then he went to Ishmael and got him an Ishmaelite wife. And so let's clap it up for the Most High. Let's give him a hand for that. That great portion. All praise to the Most High for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. That was a great portion. All praise to the Most High for blessing us to be able to go through that today on the Shabbat. And as usual, we're gonna go around and we're gonna just kind of see what was learned today by everybody. If anybody picked up on anything in particular today.
There's some Hamites that think they're Hamites and Ishmaelites that think they're Ishmaelites, but they could be Esau.
Okay. All right, that's true.
Esau mixing in with Ishmael and the king.
Right. That's powerful. That's powerful. Everybody else? Con. Yes, we got to sport with our wives if we got them. Con. What else we got? It's a lot, Con. It was good today. Ain't no such thing as spiritual Israel. All praise to the Most High. That is a fact. Right. No grafted in, no spiritual Israel. None of that stuff. That's dead. That's dead. So all praise to the Most High for blessing us again, like I said, with this portion and with this class. It was very edifying. I pray everybody was edified. I don't know that we have any announcements.
We just had a new moon.
Yeah, the new moon just passed. That was glorious. All praise to the Most High for that as well.
Feast of dedication on the 28th.
Con, the Feast of Dedication is on the 28th. Let me see. I know we got the address. Let's see where we got the address at. The Feast of Dedication is going to be on the 28th of this month. Does anybody have the address? Let's see if we can find the address so we can put that out for everybody to, if you're in the spirit and you feel like coming down and participating with us at the Light of Zion.
6800 Sunset Strip, Sunrise, Florida.
So 6800 Sunset Strip, Sunrise, Florida.
33313.
33318. All right. 13. I'm sorry. So that's the location. If you have any questions, regarding it, feel free to hit us up in the comments. In the videos, or I believe is a number is a number up? The contact information is on the YouTube. Okay, so yeah, the contact information is on the YouTube. So if you'd like to call and get some further information regarding the upcoming events, please feel free. Give us a call, send us a text or something like that, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible and fill you in on whatever information it is that you might need.
And also, we're working on getting to school. Right now we're outside. We're building that little sanctuary. So, just continue to donate. We do appreciate all the donations, that come through, because it's going towards the school. So we can continue to, build our nation. Wake our people up. We pray that the Most High continues to give us the increase. So the Cash App is Light of Zion. Lee County.
Who's it?
Lee County.
I think it's hold on. Is it LOZ Lee County?
I think that's what it is.
Yes, it is LOZ. Yes, $ LOZ Lee County. That's the Cash App. So if the spirit moves you, please feel free to donate to the school. Again, like the officer was saying, we're trying to build up so that way we can get a sanctuary for the brothers and sisters to come and worship that. It's a work in progress, but we praying and we trying to be diligent in our efforts to try to get a school. So any donation, anything helps, whether it be 25 cents to $25 or whatever you have to give, we appreciate it. And also remember to like, share, and subscribe all the videos, the Light of Zion, Lee County, as well as all the other schools. You know, everybody's putting in work trying to edify the nation and bring everybody back to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. All right? So, Shalom, Israel.